One. There it is.
Boom. What up, ladies?
Boom.
What's today? Wednesday? Tuesday?
Today's Tuesday.
All day?
Today's Tuesday. All day. So, you know what? Let's just hit the intro. Let's just get this thing rocking and rolling, shall we?
Intro it is.
The Insurance Pro Show is a podcast for agents who want to grow their agency and be titans of the insurance industry. Learn from a panel of experts who share their agency struggles, their experiences with the nation's best carriers, and share the marketing secrets that successful insurance agents are using today. Now, here's your host, the Insurance Pro, James Cias.
That still makes me smile, but all right, all of you insurance pros out there, let's dive into another fun episode. But before we jump into the show, just a quick reminder to please subscribe on whichever platform it is that you're listening to us on today. Give us a like, give us a follow, subscribe, and drop a review and help other like-minded insurance agents find value from our awesome guests as we rise up in those podcast rankings. By the way, that's from Hamilton. Anybody who's wondering and out there or not? Yeah. Anyway, I will sincerely appreciate all of those likes, subscribes, and reviews. And if you want to be a guest on the show, I would love to have you on the show and to learn from you. Go to www.insurancebroshow.com/guest to schedule your time slot. And don't forget to follow me on all of my social media at Insurance Bro Show. All right, so we do have another fun-filled episode ready to go today. We are going to talk about 13 skills every insurance agent should learn. The actual title of the article is 13 skills every 24-year-old insurance agent should learn before it's too late. But you know what? This definitely applies across the board. If you are young and just getting into the industry, definitely listen in. You are going to want to check this stuff out. We're going to talk about some really good stuff, some really good things that you do need to learn. And if you've been in the game and you know this stuff already, well, you know, it's always a good refresher, and you never know what you might learn. So 13 skills every insurance agent, 24-year-old insurance agent should learn before it's too late. And this comes to us from Agency Nation. Thank you so much. Number one, develop sales skills. Pretty simple, right? I mean, you are in a sales job, right? Sales industry. You are a salesperson. If you're in the insurance space, if you are an insurance agent, you are a salesperson. Don't be afraid. It's not a bad word. It's not a dirty word. It's not a bad thing. You are a salesperson. It is your job to, generate the sale. 5 things, Nan, go ahead and name them. 5 things you got to do as a salesperson.
Lead generate, lead follow-up, present, negotiate, close. That's it. 5 things. 5 little itty bitty things. And then you sit back and
smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave.
Smile and wave. That's it. I mean, developing your sales skills, one of the things that I would definitely recommend is finding mentors. Listen to podcasts, read books, ingest as much information, digest as much information as you possibly can around those sales skills, because there's a lot of really good books that you can read. There's a lot of really good podcasts that you can listen to. There's a lot of people out there that you can learn from, but none of it matters until you put it to practice. You can read every book there is about how to ride a bike, but you will not learn to ride a bike until you get on one. So developing your sales skills is 1, learning, reading, growing, listening to as many good salespeople and mentors as you possibly can, and 2, putting all of that stuff to practice.
Implementation, dude. The learning is only part of it, right? The G.I. Joes had it right, or partially right? Knowing is half the battle. That was half the answer. The other half of learning the skill is implementing the skill. And most of you who are going to implement the skills fall into that fear category where all of a sudden you try something and it doesn't work, or you don't try it because you're afraid it's not going to work. So yes, you are going to make mistakes. You're going to fall off the horse and that, all that sort of stuff, but you just get back up and you keep going. That's part of the developmental process. That's part of the learning process, is to make the mistakes. But if you don't actually go out and make the mistakes, if you don't go out and try, you're never going to develop as a salesperson. Car salesmen, one of the reasons why they're so good at what they do is because they get so many at-bats. There's a few guys that are on the lot, and when somebody shows up on the lot, they take turns and they go at it and they they practice their skills, they practice their script, they practice their pitch, and every single time that they get a no, they're learning a little bit more. But they get so many at bats that when they leave being a car salesman, if they ever leave that job and they go into another sales career, they've already had those skills. They already know that part of developing your skills is failing. You have to do it.
100%. Absolutely must be done. Let's move on to number 2, because part of what you're going to be doing as you're developing your sales skills is learning how to communicate on the phone. This is definitely a tough one for a lot of people. I mean, this week, was it this week? I think it was this week. I handed off the outbound phone calls to that guy right there, to my brother, because you know what, I don't really enjoy making outbound calls a lot of times. There are certain times when I know that I need to, and I will, but honestly, if I can avoid it, I very often do. It's not really my strength, but that's something that he's really good at. He's able to do, and that's something that insurance agents, salespeople in general, no matter what industry you're in, need to learn to do. What is that other saying that we always do? It's do what you don't want to do when you don't want to do it at the highest level. And this is one of those things where, I'll admit I failed at it because I had somebody that I could hand it off to. If you don't have somebody that you can hand it off to, that's something that you've got to develop. That's something that you've got to learn how to do. That's something that you've got to rise up and get better at, defeat those demons, those fears, whatever it is. Just get out there and get her done.
This is the seed of procrastination, ladies and gentlemen. The one thing that you keep procrastinating that weighs over your shoulder is probably that one thing in your daily task that is going to turn into actual dollars in your business. People procrastinate.
Step 1, right?
Yeah.
Lead generation.
Exactly. People procrastinate on all the things they don't want to do. And I know I've done the same thing. There's times where, I would have to sit down. I'm like, look, I got to call all these for sale by owners, or I got to call all these expired listings. And I look at the list and I start making excuses, right? I start, like, if I know this individual on the other side, I'm like, you know what? That guy probably doesn't want to hear from me right now. It's almost lunchtime.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably busy. Oh, you know what? I called the other day.
I don't want to get into a groove. I only got like 20 minutes until I got to move on to this next thing.
And you put it off and you put it off and you put it off. And that's why you get stuck in a rut. You don't move on to the next level. Look, it sucks getting started. It sucks getting started with anything. You want to get up and work out, it sucks getting started. You want to, lose weight, it sucks cutting out certain things. If you want to make money in your business, it sucks getting on the phone and prospecting. But you know what? It gets easier as you progress. Make it part of what you have to do. Swallow the frog every day. Just get out there. And, communicate by phone doesn't necessarily mean make a phone call. That's a good way to do it, but it can also be a video DM. It could also be, sending out messages. It could also be whatever puts you in front of the client every single day to tell them what it is you do. That's what communicating is all about. You have multiple ways to do that in today's society, but don't shy away from the communication of actually having an interaction with a person, on the phone, right? Or in verbally, right? That's what I'm trying to say, verbally, because there's a lot of power there. That's where your connections are made. That's where the relationships enhance. That's where you get better at whatever it is that you're trying to sell. That's where you get better at offering services. So don't shy away from the phone. It is a lost art, but you can do dramatically better than your peers, than your competitors, if you're comfortable with getting on the phone. And it starts with being uncomfortable, but do it anyways.
100%. I keep saying that. I'm going to stop saying 100% because that's just getting like too much in my vocabulary. So I'm going to start dropping pins because I don't have any quarters nearby.
Yeah, ding. Remember that?
I remember.
When you said that, I was thinking of what was the name of that movie where he keeps it was Liz Hurley was the devil, and
it's Bedazzled.
Bedazzled, yeah, and he's like, well, you always give it 110%.
110%. It's a team effort.
Team effort. You always give it 110%. Oh, exactly.
Oh, too good. All right.
If you watch that movie. All right, next one.
There you go. No. We skipped one. There you go. Go back to time management. This is huge. And this, I mean, I love it because this article is like every 24-year-old agent should learn. Man, everybody needs to learn this. There was a little while there where the Tuesday 5 a.m. call was Time Block Tuesday,
Mhm.
right? And Time Block Tuesday, man, I have taken that to like an extreme level. I know exactly what my day looks like from 4:40 a.m. when I wake up to 10 p.m. when I go to sleep. And you see me leaning over this way because all I have to do is look up at my cork board back there, and my daily schedule is all there. So I know that from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., that's when I'm checking my emails. And I can check my emails again from 12:30 to 1:30. I know, I got to eat lunch. So my 1:30 to 2 o'clock, that's my lunch hour. Like all of these different things that I need to get done, I get done in prescribed times. And this keeps me organized. For one, it allows me to take care of the things that I have to take care of, like those emails and Slack messages and all that stuff. It gives me that time frame when I'm going to get into that, and it gives me the freedom to, there's one on here that says 11 to 12:30 pipe drive activities and projects. So that's my whatever other stuff that I've got going on, the things that I'm working on. 10 to 11 is my eat my frog time. So that's my one thing that I need to get done for that day that's going to, create a successful day. I get that done from 10 to 11 every day. Like these are the things that I time block, and that's how I time manage. How do you time manage?
Well, so here's the thing, just to add to the importance of time management. For those of you who are our age, you grew up with this show called Married with Children, right? And Al Bundy, otherwise known as Ed O'Neill, he plays the same character in Modern Family, pretty much, except he actually loves his wife in that one. In Love It in
Married with Children.
Married with Children. There you go. Married with Children. Al Bundy's character always goes back to his high school days, right? The glory days when he scored that touchdown, and he hates his life. He sells women's shoes, and he hates his whole situation. He hates his life. Look, there's a lot of people. The reason why that show did so well is because there's a lot of people who connected with that individual.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people who really understood that mindset. And what is that mindset saying? That mindset saying is your glory days are behind you. When people think about their glory days, they always think about their high school and college days. Why? Because those were times that were structured. You knew when you were waking up every day. You knew what time the next class started. You knew what you were doing at every point in the day. And because you knew what you were doing, whether or not you did it was a whole other story, right? Whether you were a straight A student or an F student, that's a whole different ballgame. But you knew what you were supposed to do every single day. You woke up and it gave you purpose. And that's really where time management helps you out. You know exactly what you're going to do on a daily basis, and it's giving you a purpose and a reason to get up and do something in that next day. Doing nothing sounds awesome until you're actually doing nothing. Then you realize how much it sucks. So if you have a set schedule on a regular basis, that's going to help you achieve the goal that you want to achieve. You can break it down in priorities so that you're working through your schedule. I know for me personally, by 7:30, 7:40 in the morning, all my main things are done. If I did nothing else the rest of the day, or something came up, I would have the productivity that I needed for that day. So how you structure your day is completely up to you, but stick to a schedule. Use your Google Calendar. It's right there on your phone. You can add things, take things off, whatever you need to, but set your priorities right, set your schedule right, and stick to that time management. Do what you need to do, and you're going to see your life change dramatically.
Boom. Moving on, number 4, decisiveness. I love the saying, and I heard it not too long ago from my Junto group. Was it a Junto group or was it a book I was reading? Anyway, rich, the good business owner, the good entrepreneur, the richest among the rich, right? They make decisions quickly and they change them slowly. So for me, that's something that I've really taken in, that I've really tried to continue to manifest in my business. It's when I'm going to make a decision, I'm going to make a decision quickly, and I'm going to change it slowly. I think that's the approach that I want to take to it. What do you say about decisiveness?
Ready, aim, fire, right? We
ready, fire, aim.
Ready, fire, aim is a lot of what we end up doing, right? When you're going to make a decision, you need to make sure that you decide and take action and move forward. That goes back to the whole procrastination thing. And if you don't have your time management in place, if you don't have a priority list as to what you're going to do, that is why you're indecisive at any given time. You don't know what you want to do because you don't know what's going on tomorrow. As soon as you start to lay out your particular schedule, you also start to prioritize things. Then you start, once you start prioritizing things, you know which direction you're going in. So if an opportunity presents itself, you're quick to say, yes, this is pushing me in the direction that I want to go in, or no, this is not putting me in the direction that I want to go in. Once you decide to take action, do it. Go for it. Another thing that I've learned over my years is don't think the result is going to come from that decision that you make in a short period of time. Give whatever you're doing a longer period of time. If you decide that you're going to start losing weight and working out, cool. Guess what? Give yourself 6 months to a year of consistent doing that one thing to see if you get the result you want. Along the way, you can modify and adapt, right? But you're consistently doing the thing that you want to do. You've decided, you've made a decision that you're going to improve your health. So now you take the necessary steps to get there. You've decided in your business that you're now going to make outbound phone calls from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Great. Now decide how you're going to do that. Now improve what you're doing. Modify your script, adjust your objection handles, maybe change the system that you're using to make your calls on. All these things are after effects once you've made that decision, but decide and then take action.
And then prioritize. So, I mean, I love the way that this is flowing right now, because I mean, just going right back to that time management, the reason why I've set up my schedule the way that I have is because there are certain things that take priority. When it comes right down to it, emails, Slack messages, all of these other things are nearly always going to be lower priority. I mean, there might be some times when, I get a text message or a phone call or whatever, and it's a fire that needs to be put out. And so that will take that top priority. But there are other more important things that you probably can be working on other than checking your email. We talk about this a lot. Those 5 things that you got to be doing: lead generate, lead follow up,
present, negotiate, and close.
That's what I said. Yeah. When you're doing those things, those are those money making activities. Those are the things that you absolutely must prioritize. But it's easy for us to get caught up in, I need to make a social media post, and I need to write this email, and I need to do this, and I need to do that. When those aren't necessarily the things that are going to generate revenue. Those aren't the things that are going to be out there helping you grow your agency or grow your business. They're busy work. It's busy work, but it's not top priority. You got to make those money making activities the top priority. You got that phone in your hand.
This thing right here is probably one of the most best tools you've ever come across. It can also be one of your most detrimental distractions. So if you have on your priority list that you're going to be making phone calls, that is the only thing that you're doing with this thing at that time. If you're going to be checking emails, that is the only thing that you're doing at that time. I have a bad habit of having multiple tabs open at the same time. And because I have multiple tabs open, it's easy for me to see a notification pop up here, notification pop up there. And all of a sudden, where I have prioritized a block to do one thing, I'm distracted. 2 minutes here, 3 minutes here, 10 minutes here, and then your time block is gone. So prioritizing is important, and then situating yourself so that you can focus on what you prioritize is the second step on the priority list to make so that you're effective during that time, so that when you decide something, right, you have a decisiveness, you've decided to do something, you've prioritized it and put it on your calendar and schedule. Now you're only doing that thing. Once it's done, you have the freedom and flexibility to do whatever you want to do or to do whatever comes next. But prioritize and get that thing done. It's going to hurt you in the long run if you don't do it. It's going to help you out if you get her done.
100. There it is. Quarter. There it is. Quarter. Ding. All right. Absolutely. So number 6, how to solve problems on your own. It's great to have a mentor. It's great to have somebody that you can rely on, somebody that's part of your team, but dang it, you need to learn to figure stuff out on your own. It's just a common thing. Like,
you live in the age of Google, ladies and gents.
Exactly.
Like, there is no reason why you don't have an answer for something that you can't figure out. I didn't know how to do Photoshop. right? So what did I do? I went on YouTube, I Googled it. How do I? And complete the sentence. And guess what? There's like 50 videos or more, 50 million videos probably, of how to do that specific thing. And it can get very, very niched. I remember, many, many moons ago, we had a dryer or washer break, right? And what did I do? I Googled it, and all of a sudden do a little thing here and there, and boom, it starts working again. Solving problems on your own is super vital, especially in the Google age. You'll save yourself time. You'll understand and learn something new. Now, what is that?
LMGTFY.com. Let me Google that for you.com. So when somebody asks a question sometimes and like it's literally something that they could have Googled and gotten the answer, sometimes I'll go to this website and I'll type in that search. And what it does is it creates a little video of me typing in that search for them and giving them the result.
That is funny, dude. But that's one thing. Look, you want to have a mentor. You want to bring questions that are going to help you at that time. Especially if you hire a coach, right? You're hiring a coach to help you improve what you're doing. You're not hiring a coach to Google things for you and find the answer for somebody else. You want to use those quality times to improve on what you're doing. Now, here's the other side, right? Learn how to solve your own problems, but also learn how to hire a professional for some of the things that you should be hiring a professional for.
Boom.
Right? Like I gave you the example of the whole fixing the washer dryer thing. Guess what? That took an hour, 2 hours, maybe it was 3 hours of my time that I could have been doing something more productive. Right? So yeah, I learned to solve that problem on my own, but it has nothing to do with the space that I'm in. I wasn't going to be fixing washers or dryers at all ever going forward. So it was a waste of my time to do that. Solve the problems that you need to solve within your business. And here's the helpful hint while you're doing that. Write down your process, record your solutions, because as you're solving the problems on your own, you're also developing standard operating procedures that you can train other people to do. And so that problem doesn't come up again. It's solved within your company. So learn how to solve your own problems is key.
Hells yeah. And that takes emotional intelligence. A lot of times, right? Learning how to solve your own problems, because it might be problems where you're freaking out, right? Problems where you're emotionally distressed. You maybe have a client who's angry with you. You maybe have a client who's, got whatever, just problems. There's all kinds of things, and you're stressing out. There's all kinds of weight that's on your shoulders, and you feel like you're carrying the world. Emotional intelligence. That's where we got to take that step back and be able to compartmentalize these different things. Look, there's going to be times while you're growing your business that these things are going to happen. You're going to have stressful situations. You're going to have obstacles that you're going to need to overcome. If you have that mentor, absolutely reach out to that mentor and talk those things through, because that's exactly what they're there for. Those aren't the kinds of things that you're going to just Google away and figure out how to do it. But it does take that ability to take that step back, center yourself, and say, okay, I got to make this plan going forward. And when you make that plan going forward, again, like you were saying, Nan, standardize it. Write those SOPs, record it so that you know if this comes up again, we're going to do it the same way, or we're going to do it a little bit differently depending on the result.
I surrender to your will.
Here's the other thing about emotional intelligence. Look, it isn't personal. Oops, that was me. Yeah, it ain't personal. It's just business, right? When you're talking to a client, it's not personal. They're not mad at you. It's just something that's possibly going on, and you called them at the wrong time. Their kid took a dump and he just came out of their diaper, or they're about to drive. They're about to go out on the road, and somebody cut them off or whatever. It's not you all the time. So when a client takes offense to what's going on, or they're upset or whatever, it affects you from time to time. But this is where you need to step back, take a deep breath, and keep moving forward. Don't take it personal. It ain't you. It's not personal. It's just business. So don't stress out on some of the client issues that come your way. People are pricks sometimes. It happens. People is just people. You got to have that emotional IQ to just kind of step back, recenter yourself, and keep going. Here's the other thing. When you're making phone calls, right, and you have a bad experience calling the number, guess what? When you hang up, that person already forgot about you. They're not even thinking about you anymore. You might think they'll be thinking about you, but you're done. You weren't even half a thought. So tomorrow, when it's time to call people again, you you call that number one more time, because maybe now they're in a situation where they're ready to talk to you, but yesterday they weren't, today they're not. And guess what? The next day, they don't remember that you even called the day before, right? Think about it. How often do you remember those wrong numbers or those telemarketers? You know it was a telemarketer. You know it was someone calling about something, but you're not cold calling all these random people. For the most part, we teach you anyways to call your existing database. So there are people who know you. They just didn't have that time to talk.
Actually, even better, moving on to number 8, we'll teach you how to build a referral network. Now, go ahead and lean your head in there, Nate, and say hi. Because Nate is sitting in the back there, and he has been. Oh, now I'm hearing the echo. Nate has been learning from our awesome sales coach on exactly this skill right here: is how to build a referral network. And I'm about to sneeze. It comes from finding other professionals in the financial space that can feed you those referrals. Go ahead and take over for a second.
Yeah. So one of the coolest people I've met, and he's been on the show a couple times, Ryan Libsy was on our Business Bros show a couple times, and he is a title insurance rep. And I was telling Nate this story earlier today. Most people don't even know what title insurance is. You buy a house, you didn't even know you get title insurance, but it's part of the transaction. And Ryan is one of the top producing title reps that's in the real estate space. And what does he do? How does he build his referral network? He literally talks to real estate agents all the time. And he asks them, what can I do to help you grow your business? And he'll sit down and talk to them. He'll help them set up their calling scripts. He'll help them set up their time blocks. He'll help them with mindset, motivation, recommendation of books, whatever it takes to help that agent become a top producing agent, because he's establishing the relationship. Now, he rarely, or if ever, says, hey, can you buy title insurance from me? He doesn't have to, because he's provided so much value for the people that he's helping in his referral network that they just by default will always work with him. And that's how he's amassed a massive team. He's if you think if you're in real estate and you're a top producer, chances are you either work with Ryan or you know who Ryan is from Ticor Title. And it's because of what he does in the industry. He's being of value first, and then because he brings so much value, that referral comes in over and over and over and over again.
Absolutely. And everybody's going to want to tune in on Monday. We are going to have Nate on the show on Monday, and he's going to talk to us about the things that he's learned about building a referral network specifically for the insurance space, because there's a lot that he's learned and has implemented. And I'll just tell everybody this: he has doubled his book of business in the last 6 months from what he's learned. So you are definitely going to want to tune in on Monday. All right, moving on to number 9, customer experience trumps customer service. Now, this is something that I have been implementing and really trying hard to establish as a main pillar of Pipeline Team of San Diego, which is to say that customer experience is proactive. Customer experience is getting ahead of the game. Customer experience is setting the path long before anybody sets foot on that into that first step. It's everything that we've done and everything that we continue to do, that when we get a customer, they have an experience the whole way through. Customer service is on the back end. Customer service is reactive. Customer service is when I have a problem and I call the company and I want to get that problem resolved. Customer experience is getting ahead of it, anticipating the customer's potential problems, anticipating the customer's needs, and making sure that we set a clear, easy to follow path for them to have an awesome experience, something that they can, tell their friends about. What do you want to say about that?
This is where you go above and beyond. This is where when a client comes in and once they're done, you've handwritten a thank you note that's mailed to their home, so that when they get home in a couple of days, there's your handwritten note thanking them. This is why you guys want to tune in when we talk to Eric Gilman, the sharpest guy I know, about providing customized gifts that are endless, that they always think of you when they're using them. This is why when you talk to somebody and you make them feel a certain way, they remember you, versus when you talk to somebody and sell them just a particular product. It's how you make them feel about the experience that is going to make the difference between them talking to other people and referring you business and them just getting the stuff done. Customer service is expected. That is just a minimum bar that everybody should have. It's expected that when you provide a product or service that you help them get to the end. The customer experience is completely different. Think of Disney. You can go to the fair, you can go to any other theme park, but when you go to Disneyland, it's a completely different experience. The staff acts completely different. The park is completely clean. Everything about that experience is 100% hands down thought about in advance. So that's what you want to do when you're talking about your own customer experience. What does the customer do from the moment they pick up the phone and call you? What's the first thing they hear? How do they feel about the situation? When you talk about price, all these different things that go along in the process of your client's sales cycle, that's part of your business. What you do after that, what you do before that, how they feel throughout that process, that's the experience. And that's what we're talking about working on.
Heck yeah. Moving on, number 10, how to stay organized. There's so much to this. We're talking CRMs, we're talking management systems, agency management systems, we're talking time blocking, we're talking calendars, we're talking, Calendly, HubSpot, all these different things that you can use so that people that you are making appointments with can easily mark a date and time on your calendar. It's all of these different things kind of put together. Time blocking, did I say that already? All of these different things to make sure that you are handling things in a consistent way on a consistent basis. It's having that time set aside when you're going to go through your emails. It's having that calendar in place so that you know exactly what you need to do throughout the day so that you can plan accordingly and, squeeze a lunch in there whenever you can, all these different things. Staying organized is huge. The CRM, using that as a way to keep tabs with your customer, keep in touch with your customers. And the management system is all of the data, all of that important data that can so easily be utilized later on down the line if it is organized. If it's not organized, it's useless.
Here's the other thing. If you don't have a management system, if you're just getting started, ain't nothing wrong with a good old-fashioned checklist. Have that thing squared away. You know exactly what you're doing each and every time. And as you go down the list and you check it off as you complete it with every single client, you're always going to have everything you need in the one spot. Obviously, we want you to automate and use some of the software and systems that are in place. But if you don't have that yet, at least have yourself a checklist that you can go through on a daily basis, even your own checklist on what you do on a daily basis. If you have that squared away, you're gonna see a huge improvement in what you're doing and the experience that you're providing.
Oh, yeah. Number 11, how and when to ask the right questions. As insurance agents, we got to ask a bunch of questions early on, right? We're definitely taking the time to find out, if we're selling a homeowner's policy, all the different building materials and all this stuff, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We're asking questions all the way throughout. But what's great about it is how to do a cross-sell after that. When somebody's in the middle of buying a house, that's not when you want to try and cross-sell necessarily to auto and life and all these different things. They're only concerned with buying the house. They're in a stressful enough situation when they're trying to buy a house, right? If we are trying to also sell them on an auto policy and get their business insurance and their workers' comp and all these different things, it's going to be too much. A confused brain will always say no. So that's not the right time to ask those questions. However, if you do a 60-day follow-up and you say, well, let me come over to your house and take some pictures so that we're going to have all of your stuff, and we'll keep this all on file so that if you ever have a claim, we can make sure to follow that you can get paid on all these different things that you own. Oh, and by the way, while we're there, we'll go ahead and talk about these other policies that I can help you with. How and when is vitally important.
Easy, Johnny. Now's not the time. Johnny Ringo. All right, number 12. Always be learning. ABL. It never ceases to amaze me how much information is out there on the internet for you to learn. So many people who have already achieved what you want to achieve. So many people who have already laid the foundation and the footwork. Go out there and learn it. just listen to people who have already done what you want to do. Success leaves clues. Don't reinvent the wheel. It's already out there. It's already done, but it's up to you to engage in that. If you're going to sit around and listen to music all day long, that's great. It will help you out, but it's not going to help you get to the next level. If you want to be worth more, you need to know more and you need to be able to implement more. And the only way to do that is to continue to educate yourself in your industry. So always be learning.
That's why we're doing this podcast. All right. And lastly, number 13, it's all about resiliency. You're going to get doors slammed in your face. You're going to get hung up on. You're going to get people on the other side of the phone that are going to be rude and jerks. And, you might never want to call that customer again, call that person again, because they're just so mean. But we got to pick ourselves up. We got to be like young Batman over here. Right. And
why do we fall, Bruce? So we can learn to pick ourselves up.
That's right. I mean, let's face it, you guys are also in a business that pays out roughly about a 90-day turn cycle. So when you write the business, it could be anywhere from 30 to 90 days when you get paid out in the commission. So, this is not the business where you're going to go out and crush it on your first month and make, $10,000. It just doesn't work that way in the insurance space. Yeah. I mean, it's not impossible, but it's highly unlikely. This is a long-term play. So if you're in the insurance space, you're going to build this business over time. So be resilient, be consistent in what you're doing, time block what you need to do, swallow that frog every day, consistently stay at it, be resilient, get up and do it every single day. But if you're consistent, you do it for a good year's turn, you're going to see that next following year, not only will you continue to increase the number of policies you close and business you write because you're just getting better with more practice. The beauty of our business is that you continue to grow your book of business because the business you earned the year before is still on the books if you have good retention strategies and you're just building upon that going forward. So
that's right. Resilient. And these are all things that we've learned. These are all things that we have made significant strides to implement in our agency. So if you're interested in being an insurance agent with Pipeline Insurance, go to www.pipelineinsurance.com/agent opportunities. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review this show. If you gained a lot of value, which I hope you did, definitely leave us a comment, give us a rating on iTunes and Spotify and all that stuff. Help us show up higher on those search results. And don't forget to follow me on all my social media at Insurance Bro Show. And if you want to be a guest on the show, go to insurancebroshow.com/guest. All right. That's all we got. Thank you all so much. Love you all. You have my heart. You rock my socks. Have a
nice day.
Boom.
Boom.
Thank you for tuning in to the Insurance Bro Show. James is the CEO of the Pipeline team of San Diego and is always in the market for top talent. If you're an agent looking for a place to hang your license, visit www.pipelineinsurance.com/agent opportunities or send an email to newagent@pipelineinsurance.com.